is the wonderful thing about making a commitment. So that anything I'm doing at any point in time, once it is 7 o'clock, I have to be sitting on this chair in this little mud room, um, here to talk about all things writing, speaking, communicating online in the online space. So, welcome to Writer's Room. This is where storytellers and change makers pick up tips about how to influence, persuade, communicate in the online space. And I got the idea for Writer's Room from, I think, reading something about, I just heard somebody say something about a Writer's Room, and I think it was for a TV show or something, and, where they have writers gathered together to, like, write each episode of a show. I was like, oh, that's really nice. We need to start doing Writer's Room. So we started doing it with a colleague, DK, who was doing training for social media managers, virtual assistants, and I used to come in every Tuesday to teach them about email marketing, copywriting, writing their social media captions, and teaching them different bits and pieces about persuasion, and then doing some exercises. So what we've not done here is we've not done many exercises, but each time I want us to talk about something. So today I said, let us talk about pain. I am just going to speak to the camera, but I do have my notes here, so I will just talk here. You might see me look down once in a while, just to make sure that I don't waffle too much. So let's talk about pain. Now we're actually talking about influence, persuasion, selling, communicating, trying to get a message across. And selling is not always a case of, oh, here is something, give me money. Selling is just to make somebody, to help somebody to buy into what it is that you are talking about. And one way that successful communicators make their or take their points across is that they talk about the pain. Because as I said before in the caption, as entrepreneurs, most of us we get into entrepreneurship to solve a problem, and so obviously you are solving a pain. And but sometimes as entrepreneurs, we are not very good at articulating that pain, because what happens is that if you are able to and I'm jumping, like right to the end of the thing, if you are able to articulate the pain of what it is that you are, the problem that you are there to solve, the better you are at articulating the pain, the better you will be at getting your message across, at selling, at persuading, and influencing. So let's talk about pain. Now, a couple of episodes ago, I mentioned and I used almost the whole episode to talk about your responsibility as a storyteller in the online space. If you are storytelling, if you are writing, if you are persuading, if you are communicating, if you're using some of the principles that we talk about, they can be very powerful. And there is I'll not call it temptation, but it's something that it can very easily go from just using just communicating to you can actually be you can go cross it's very thin line between communication and manipulation, let me put it like that. So we have that sense of responsibility always when we're talking to people or whatever it is that we're talking about, to make sure that we're not manipulating people, or we're not trying to make people do what they do not want to do. Somebody said very succinctly that selling is just selling is just having a conversation with somebody where they make a decision that is good for them. So they make a decision that is going to benefit them. If you're selling, that's the most seamless way, the least pressure is being able to help somebody to make a decision, help somebody to come to a conclusion. Somebody else once said, and I don't know who it is, but if somebody knows who it is, say, but somebody once said that the best salespeople enter into the conversation that is already going on in the person's head. So again, I'm going to say that talking about pain is a very powerful principle that you can use in your storytelling. So it is something that you want to use with a sense of responsibility and a sense of, you know, always having the best interest of whoever you're communicating with at the back of your mind, or even at the top of your mind. So let us go into it. So why pain? Because um, as human beings, we we naturally, as human beings, human nature is we are we use more energy to run away from pain than we do in going towards something that's pleasure. So we expend a lot more energy to avoid pain um, than the opposite, which is like going towards pleasure. So let's say pain is here, or rather pain is on this side and pleasure is on this side, and we're in the middle. We would, you know, we would spend more energy running away from something rather than running towards something. And the interesting thing is that the pain can be an external pain as well as an internal pain. So, because of that, when it comes to selling or persuading, a lot of people tend to use the pain. And if you go into copywriting, you hear people say something about, what are the pain points, and then if you have the pain points, then as a copywriter, you need to agitate that pain point. Now I'm not so much a fan of agitating the pain point. More like it's more like it's like saying, if somebody has a wound, find a way to put more salt into the wound and to stick your finger in there and like twist it around and make sure that they really feel the pain. Now, that is not really a very good look, and that's not really a very good approach. However, instead of saying let's agitate the pain, the main thing that I'm saying to you today is you need to learn to articulate the pain. So um, I have a product on my I don't know that is very effort. I have a product on my website, I think, for sale, or it will soon be up for sale. It is 52 questions which you can use to create your ideal client exercise. Now, why did I think about that? Because if you answer those 52 questions, you're going to get right into the nitty gritty of the person that you're talking to or writing to. And once you have your ideal client, once you have that profile really mapped out, where you know the person better than they know themselves, you know their what keeps them up at night, you know their world view, you know the way they see the world, you know their favorite things, you created that empathy map where it's almost like you are there with them a day in their life. You see what they see, you hear what they hear, you know you begin to now you would actually have a very good you have a lot of empathy, you build a lot of empathy for this person, and then it now becomes a case of you um talking about their pain in a way that it really resonates with them. So being able to articulate the pain of somebody that you are trying to sell, and when I say sell, like I said, um, sell is not always transaction in that sense, but sell is like you want to get them on board to your point of view, or you want to them to even pay attention to you. You want them to follow your train of thought. So being able to sell to somebody is a great way to do that is to the way articulate their pain. Now, like I said again, pain can be internal and it can be external. And if you are able to articulate the external things, which most people will do, you'll be like, oh, buy this phone is going to help you to make a phone call, kind of thing. But then there's more to owning a phone than just, oh, I'm able to make a phone call. It might be the model of the phone, it might be the status that the model of the phone gives you, it might be the apps on the phone, it might be the connectivity or the tools that you have that can solve the problem. So basically, the problem that you're solving, you need to be able to dig deeper into what is the problem behind the problem, and what's the problem behind the problem, and how is it making them feel. What are the words that they are using to describe how it's making them feel? So let me go back to my notes so that I can get myself back on track. So yes, so pain, like I said, sells more than pleasure, and it is easier to make your point when you are talking about the pain that you are solving. And you can it is a bit of work if you want to really do it seriously. It's something that takes a bit of work because you're going to do a lot of listening. You're going to ask questions. You can do surveys. Depending on your audience, you can do surveys. You can check on Twitter, what are people saying? What are the words they are using? What are the expressions that they are using? What are the things that keep coming up over and over again? Um, DK, Colin, who is a social media whiz, she has a framework that she uses called QPON. So it's QPON, which is Q for questions, P for problems, O for objections, and N for needs. So what questions are they asking? What problems do they have? What objections would they have to doing what it is that you're advising them to do, or buying what it is that you're trying to sell to them? What are their needs, and how is your product or your service going to meet that need? What are the questions that they have about that particular subject area? What are the problems that they face that make them need what it is that you're selling? What are the objections that they have, both about just generally about industry and about using the product? And then, of course, what are their needs? So being able to do that, um, being able to answer that is a way for you to articulate their pain by answering their questions, problems, objections, and needs. I'm going to say something else. I'm going to write something else. I'm not going to put it in the comments so I can put it up. Yeah. So something else that people say, or rather something else that another quote that is very powerful comes from, oh, what's his name now? Bill Warren, I think his name. Anyway, I'm going to put it in the comments and I'm going to see if I can put it on the screen. Yeah, so, okay. Right, lovely. People will do anything for those who encourage their dreams, justify their failures, allay their fears, confirm their suspicions, and help them to look at their enemies. Now, I really love this quote. It's from a book on sales or I don't know, I can't remember. bill something, you can find it or just Google it. So people will do anything for those who encourage their dreams, justify their failures, allay their fears, confirm their suspicions, and help them throw rocks at their enemies. Now, I would normally use this to teach about, you know, persuasion, writing, sales, storytelling, that kind of thing. You know, even email marketing. But when I looked at this quote today, I was like, this is really all about talking about people's pain. You know, so they might have a dream that they've not been able to reach, or they might have something that they have failed at. Maybe they've tried and failed. Maybe tried several times and they failed. They might have some fears that are at the back of their mind that are preventing them from doing certain things. They might have some suspicions about why is this thing not happening for me? Why is this thing going wrong? And then of course they might have the things or people or systems that they blame for their inability to achieve what it is that they want to achieve. So basically, as somebody who is talking about their pain, now just keep in mind what we're talking about. As somebody who is talking about or trying to articulate the pain, you are, if you are somebody who knows that, okay, I'm selling this thing to teachers to teach them how to do better in the classroom, or how to teach their classes, or make their students pay attention to them in their classroom, something like that. So their dream is not, oh, my dream is I want to make people pay attention. Maybe their dream is to be like to excel as a teacher, or to be teacher of the year or something, and you coming to speak to that pain by encouraging those dreams, especially if there's something that is, if they have that dream, but they've not been able to reach that dream, but you are there to encourage them to say, oh, all you need is just these 2 3 steps, and then um this is what you need, or these are the 2 3 things that are missing from you being able to um get this thing. So there again, we are talking about articulating that pain. Same thing with justifying their failure. So there's something that they've been trying to do, or they have just not been able to get a handle on, you know and for if somebody comes up to them and says, look, I understand you have been trying to do this. Maybe you've tried this way, that way, this person, that person. You've not been able to get it. It's not your fault. The reason why you have not done it is because of this. This is the one thing that was missing, or this is the one thing um, that you needed, or this is the one tweak that needed to be done. So basically, by coming to say, you know, it's not your fault, they are justifying their failures, or this is the reason why, because you listen to bad information, or or something, you are doing it the way they did it in 2020, and now this is 2023 or whatever. So you justify their failures, and like, oh, things have changed, so that's why it's worked before, but it doesn't work now because blah blah. But you've given them a justification to say, you know try my way, or try me, or try my product, because you know even though it's failed before, you actually had a good reason. You justified that reason. So again, that is that pain. Again, their fears as well. So you allay their fears. Fears, obviously, fears and pain, kind of like they're like two sides of the same coin. The things that they fear, the things that they people have things, everybody, we do, I do, have something that we're afraid of. Sometimes even success, you might be afraid of succeeding in something, or you might be afraid of trying something, like, oh, what if this happens? If I go live, what if nobody shows up? What if nobody watches me? What if this? What if that? What if this? And so if you're so that is the pain point, and that sometimes holds people back, and that kind of thing. So all those kind of fears, and then of course confirm their suspicions, like it is Elon Musk's fault. Well, maybe not as bad as that, but like their suspicions, like maybe like, oh, there's so many distractions, there's too much information around, so then they may, so you're not able to finish your work in this amount of time because of all the things that you're up against, or so basically, when you say confirm their suspicions, you're again going back into having um taking part in the conversation that is already going on in their head. So and then of course helping them throw rocks at their enemies to say this person is to blame, or this thing is to blame, or this system is to blame, or this method is to blame, or what, or your this disadvantage is what is to blame. So you're helping them to throw rocks at their enemies, because they have also said they are also having that competition in their mind to say this is the enemy, this is the thing that's holding me back, or this is the system that's holding me back, or this is whatever the enemy is, whether physical or whatever. So all I'm talking about today is pain is a great way to sell. The better you are at articulating the pain, the easier for you to get people on board to buy, or to buy into what it is that you're selling. You can only understand the pain if you understand the person inside out. If you understand their problem, or you understand the industry, you have to have that empathy. So again, back to that thing of, you don't want to come as somebody who is just there to manipulate the situation, create a scaremonger kind of person, but at the same time you want to really, like, that's your that's your pitch, that's what you're selling. You're selling that you understand. So that empathy is everything. The empathy to say, I know what you are going through. I have, maybe if you've been there before, you say I have been there before. If you have not been there before, you can say I have helped people who have been in the similar situation, that kind of thing. So you having that empathy and being able to not just to empathize, because obviously you can say, oh, hey, yeah, as we say in my country, oh, hey, yeah, oh, oh, sorry, or oh, poor you, or there. That's not what we're saying. We're saying, I know that you feel as if your heart wants to break, as if your skin is crawling. You feel like, every time you close your eyes, you have it. So you have to be able to articulate the pain. That maybe every time you come back from the gym, this is the kind of, these are the voices that are going on in your head. This is the talk, that this is the thing that you are hearing people say. This is the thing that your internal voices are saying to you. Being able to really, really just say, um, I empathize, and I know, and that is invaluable. So that's why I said it can take a lot of work, because it can take some work. If you really want to do this, you need to show some interest in the person that you are serving, or the people that you're serving. Have conversations with them, do surveys on them, answer questions from them, ask them questions, check in the Facebook groups, in the WhatsApp groups, what are the things that keep coming up, and that kind of thing. Um, DK is asking, how do you use pain without being a victim? How do you use pain without being a victim? Yeah, so how do you use pain without making them into a victim? That's a very good one. So it still kind of comes back to um you justifying their failures, you allaying their fears, you confirming their suspicions. So if you justify their failures, they are not a victim, So it's not like like if somebody comes and says, oh, I'm here to teach you how to make six figures, blah blah blah. You're not going to come and say, you're a loser, you're not making six figures, blah blah blah. It's more like you are coming to say, this is the reason why you have not reached that six figures a year mark yet. and then you are encouraging their dreams at the same time. So you're not trying to make your prospect or your prospective client or prospective customer into a victim. Instead, you are trying to, again, repeating myself, articulate the pain. Alex Hormozy, who for some reason I have probably mentioned his name like 6 times in the 5 or 6 times I've come online, maybe because it's just at the back of my mind. Anyway, yeah. So he says, he said somewhere, I think it is in one of his books, but or I heard him on a podcast or something. He said the pain is the pitch. The pain is the pitch. If you are able to, especially if it's a one-on-one conversation, you're trying to close a sale or whatever, the pain is the pitch. How will somebody know that you can solve their problem if you do not understand, if you do not show that you understand their problem, if you don't show that you know what they are going through, if you sound like everybody else, how will somebody know that you're actually going to solve their problem, or that you even understand their problem? Because a lot of people feel that they're special. We, not just them. We feel we're special. We feel that, oh, my case is different. People don't understand. I'm going through this, but obviously, that's not true. Most people, whatever it is they're going through, there's other people going through it. It's just one of those things that is always a surprise to us, like, oh, okay, other people are going through this. But anyway, I digress. But basically, you want to make people know that, look, I know exactly what you are going through. Oh, I know that you've been trying to diet, but I know you don't, somehow you can't make that connection by believing you believe it's possible for other people, but you don't believe it's possible for you. I want to tell you why it's possible for you, kind of thing. Or you know how to, you know how to do it for other people, but when it comes to doing it for yourself, you find it difficult to do for yourself. You know, I was when I was writing my notes, I just remembered one guy was talking about. Funny enough, he was talking about copywriting. What's his name again? Oh, people's names are just flying out of my head today. Anyway, so he was talking about copywriting, and he was talking about how sometimes you're trying to tell people to buy something or to, maybe sign up for my course or whatever it is, and that sometimes the person, all you need to tell the person, maybe that particular person, all they need to hear is that once they join your course and they are making the money that you are promising them, that they are going to make, you are going to be able to, you know, prove that your stupid brother-in-law wrong. You're going to prove your brother-in-law wrong. Like those people that kind of like throw shade on you or whatever. So basically, he when he said that thing, I just said, "Oh my goodness, that's a sore point. That would be a sore point for somebody. So that's a pain point for somebody. Maybe you have somebody said the other day, that if you have a chip on your shoulder, I can't remember, I'm paraphrasing, maybe I'm even putting together what three people said, but basically, if you have a chip on your shoulder, you know, that there's nothing wrong with having a chip on your shoulder, because maybe you want to prove somebody wrong about you, like, oh, they didn't think you were going to amount to anything, and you are here to, you want to prove them wrong. So that's what's driving you. That's what, falling down. That's what's driving you. That's what drives you. That's what your motivation. But there's nothing wrong with having those kind of motivation. So that's the point I'm making, is that maybe somebody went through something in the past, people look down on them, and they are here to, and they're trying to do something, and they want to prove a point, but then there's that pain of those past rejections or past um, times when people look down on them, that is is there, and then if you are somebody who is able to articulate that pain, is able to point out those things, those, like I said, pain is external. External is, oh, I want to make money so that I can survive and pay my bills and build a house and travel. But internal pain is I want to prove the people that didn't believe me wrong. I want to prove to myself. I want to make a difference in the world. I want to be remembered. I want to have status. So those internal things, those I want to have security, those internal things that people that are also the pain points, but are not the things that we even say out loud. If you are able to articulate them, then you are golden. Let me just check my notes because we are out of time. Right, so we talked about internal pain, frustration, shame, confusion, low self-esteem, um, anger, all those kind of things. So depending on obviously on what you're selling and what is happening or whatever, um, fear. So basically, being able to I'll just give myself one more minute and then we will round up. But being able to go to the pain points, the what's that word? The overt pain points, the one that everybody can see, and then being able to dig a bit deeper and say, okay, what is this pain causing? How does this pain make them feel about themselves? What does this pain look like as in their home life, in their work life, in their everyday life, in their thought life? What is this pain? How is it making them feel? How is it making them see the world? How is it making people look at them? That kind of thing. And being able to like really just put that into words, that is when you are able to sell. So that is us talking about pain. We're not talking about agitating the pain. We're talking about articulating the pain. One final thing. Somebody was saying, more than one person. If you're selling something and you want to sell a program or a course or something, you know, it's always better to sell a painkiller versus selling a vitamin. Now, vitamins are good for us. Vitamins keep us healthy. Vitamins are the ones that we are responsible, the responsible ones among us. We take our vitamins every day so that we stay healthy. But because of human nature, and we're not, I have many types of vitamins in my cupboard, and different teas and different sexy little things, health things. But then you always reach for the coffee and don't bother about the vitamins. But if you have pain, then you reach for your Panadol or your aspirin or your Advil or whatever the things are called in your part of the world. So that is it. People tend to gravitate more to products and services that are painkillers rather than vitamins. So your product doesn't have to be a painkiller, but when you are selling it or positioning it or presenting it, it's better to present it as a painkiller rather than as a vitamin. And I will end right there. I am over time. Thank you so much for joining. I would encourage you next time. Please just leave a comment, ask questions, or if you need me to talk about something else, or let me know. And I will see you again next week, Tuesday, same time, 7 p.m. and in the writer's room. Have a wonderful evening. Bye.